Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Sagittarius, we have the Queen of Cups, which love the energy. Of course, I am maybe biased towards some of the Queen, High Empress, and High Priestess and Empress energies, all of these middle goddess mother archetypes. Now, the Queen of Cups I perceive as being one of the more powerful alignments, right? It is emotions meeting with that psychic space, that intuition. Really, just like a well-refined, well-worked muscle, okay? So this is definitely an energy of somebody who has eyes to see, ears to hear, right? And this is, yes, a psychic, a clairvoyant, medium, channeler, healer, worker of the unknown, the mysteries, right? And so I imagine you are kindred here. You are somebody who maybe is a practitioner yourself. You maybe read tarot cards or tea leaves or, I don't know, maybe something else. Maybe you have some kind of interesting practice. But whatever it is, I feel it is quite potent. So let's go ahead. We are going to spin this thing and we're going to see, what are the tea leaves going to tell us? All right. So, Sagittarius, I want to go ahead again to tell you, thank you. Thank you for clicking on this reading. It is a great pleasure to have you here. Sharing our time is the most sacred thing, as our time is basically all that we have, right? If it's a construct or not. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to take a look. Okay, so we have a really interesting, we have this energy right here is really the first thing that drew me in. And this is, we have the animal who is in this almost kind of playful stance, like when a dog is playing, they get lower in the front and their tail is up and it's wagging and they're excited. So we have this energy of the trickster. You can think maybe the coyote, but very playful. Okay. I feel like this is in your spiritual sector. Maybe a direct connection to a spirit guide or some kind of entity, intelligence reaching out to you through dream work, vision work. I don't feel like it's revealing self through pattern or synchronicity so much as a direct encounter. So I'm imagining that this is most likely through dreams, because it does feel very immersive. Like you're there together talking, right? And I think this comes off the back of some real anxiety. I feel that there has been a real desire in your life. And we have a person in a boat. You can see the person standing here. Okay. Holding, it looks like a bird. It might be a flame, but I think it's a bird right here, standing kind of perched on the hand. Now, we also have a heart and we have the number 4 right there. Now above, we also have a carriage. Okay, so the ship and the carriage represent not only a casual move, but and the carriage would be more casual, but also a huge life shift, which is the ship. If you could imagine, like, okay, I'm going to go down to the corner store and buy some supplies. And that would be the carriage. That's kind of if you could imagine the amount of work that goes into that versus, okay, I'm packing up all my stuff and getting on the ship and we're going across the ocean. They're different levels of moving, right? Or venturing out into the world. So I feel that it has been the great intention of yours to change your life and change your circumstances. I feel that there's been really quite an awakening in these last 5 years or so for you. And one that has really dislodged your ability to kind of just go along with things, right? I feel, not that you're like some kind of pushover. That's not what I'm saying. Don't get mad, okay? But I do feel like for the most part, for a good majority, especially of your adulthood, you just kind of have been going along with the flow of things, which, look, most of us do. I think at times you have maybe been kind of like deeply in autopilot and, just kind of slightly dissociative, through most of the things that you're doing through the day. And again, I think we're all there, right? But, sometimes if we're lucky, we have these moments where we kind of hit a wall and we think, oh, shake my head and my eyes are, waking up, and all of a sudden it's, wait, what's going on here, right? I'm looking around at the world, I'm looking around at my life, and I'm thinking, what have I been doing? What have I been doing with my time? These existential questions that start to arise. Oh, geez, why was I born? What am I supposed to be doing here? Am I supposed to just be, making money to pay for a house that I have to work for to pay for? And so I'm never there. And, I have to take care of all these different things and people and, and we find ourselves in these places where it's like, is this the way I want to live? Is this what it's all about? And you know what? For some of us, yeah, this is what it's all about, but for others, it's kind of like I suddenly am seeing what the world really kind of looks like, and I can't go back to that slumber again, right? And so I feel, Sagittarius, that you really are in a place where it's like, I want to move forward. I want something different for myself because I can't pretend that I didn't get a glimpse of something else, right? And so I do, and I feel like you have that trickster energy that really is very aligned with you right now. But also, if you look over here, it looks like we have a being here, and almost like there's like an apparition kind of attached to the two. Okay. Now, the other thing we have is this person up here who has this kind of almost psychic trail coming out of the top of their head there. And so, again, I feel that, as I said at the beginning, there is this real potent ability. I mean, just if it's clairvoyance or maybe mediumship, I feel like this is more, it could be mediumship. I mean, part of it. I don't think that's it, the whole thing. But the clairvoyance, it feels like you are off the charts at times. Like this is an innate ability, one that you maybe have also intentionally developed, but I feel like you just have always been somebody that has had very complex and involved experiences with the supernatural or the spiritual, the divine, okay? And you are in a period of time where that is very potent. There's just no ignoring it, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if there are people in your life that are kind of like, what's going on with them? You know, like, are you losing touch with reality? That's the big thing. Or, you know, you've been on the internet too long. You're, you know, being corrupted by these weird ways of thinking. And, you know, a lot of family, I understand, you know, it would be hard to figure out what the heck was going on with somebody if all of a sudden they had these like completely different viewpoints than what they did not that long ago, right? Or experiences of reality, and they just seem different. And yeah, of course, you might worry, like, what's going on? Is there something, you know, physical happening here? Is there something psychological happening here? You know, and yeah, there are. But I don't think this is a detriment. I don't think this is something that is worrisome so much as you're going through an awakening, right? And so, you know, and this is part of being somebody who expresses their convictions. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to, I think, is that, or lives in their, I don't want to just say truth, but yeah, is pretty out about the fact that they have these psychic abilities or these spiritual beliefs or practices or whatever. That can be very off-putting to some people, especially people that you have like an established relationship with, and all of a sudden you're into these other things and they're like, what is going on? This is, you know. And not only that, when you are doing the work, as much as we are magnetized and we bring people in, especially people who are looking to do the work as well, we're like beacons, right? The same goes for repelling people that do not want to see. They do not want to partake in the work. They have no interest in this kind of development. They have other things going on. They're just not into it, right? And they are just absolutely deterred by this energy. And you might find that happening at times, and it might be hurtful. It might feel like, well, why is my family rejecting me? Or why is this person that I've known for years, all of a sudden, they can't stand me because my viewpoints have shifted, or, you know, whatever. The best advice I can give you is stay true to yourself. You know, it's not easy to be rejected by people, but you know what? Sometimes it's going to happen, especially when we are living in our authentic being. People find that so difficult to understand sometimes. And you know what? And you know what? Times I have, right? Especially like when I was deep within my addiction, when I was young, I was in my 20s, you know, and I thought I knew everything. Anybody that was living well or better than me, and I don't mean financially, I mean, they had purpose. They had something they cared about. They were invested in something. They were devoted to something meaningful, you know, whatever that was. I didn't want to be around it, you know, because it just emphasized my own shortcomings, my own pain. So you will run into that, but I feel that coming into this next period, we have two people, we have a palm tree, and here it looks like we have a person and a bird. Oh, and another person right here. And it looks like they're holding the Ace of Cups. So, oh, and we have a person with flowers right here. Okay, and we have an eye with a heart. Look, there's the pupil and the little eyelashes, the eye, and then the heart. We also have a dog again, the trickster. It looks like it's salivating, barking, excited. So I do feel that, all of this being said, I feel like you have a very deep relationship with somebody, a union of sorts. It doesn't have to be romantic, but I do feel like you have a deep partnership or that you are coming into one, okay? And I feel like with that palm tree and the Ace of Cups and the flowers, I can't help but feel like you are coming into a place of just belovedness, like lush, romantic. I mean, it doesn't have to be romantic, but lush love. It would be kind of, if you could imagine, a romantic summer afternoon. It's not too hot, not too many bugs. The grass, it feels beautiful. It's not itchy. Can you tell I have a lot of sensory things? When you're like out on a picnic with somebody, there's that perfect glow of light and just laughing, enjoying each other. And there's a belovedness. It feels warm and safe and whole. And intoxicating. A little bit intoxicating. So I just feel this almost moment of just perfection. Perfection. And now it won't last because no perfection does. But when you have those moments, it is a burst. It's like, photons. The brightest of the bright. Beautiful. And I feel like this is such fuel for you. I feel like you're getting into an era of witnessing love, of being love, of dwelling in love. All the kinds of love. Family, love of self, agape love with God, goddess, divine. Eros, amorous, physical, beloved, sensual, everlasting. All of the kinds of love, right? Hobbies, passions, talents, rising. And it's all coming together. And I feel you having a real distinct relationship with the mother as well. If that is something akin to Mother Mary, Guadalupe, Tara, Durga, Lakshmi, I could get so many different, but I feel like the mother goddess is one that is showing herself a lot to you lately. Okay. If it's, even like Kali, a lot of us will look at this kind of imagery of Kali or Shamunda or, these kinds of destructive, and they're not just destructive, but, that's what we perceive by looking at the imagery. And these ferocious, what we would call the dark mother. And maybe that is, more your relation. But whatever it is, I feel the mother is very potent in your life right now. Okay? And so we give her thanks, right? And I would say that if there is something that you like to do, give offering. Maybe you like to put a piece of fruit in the window or on the steps in the front porch, or leave maybe a bowl of water. I like to leave flowers or braided grasses for the goddesses of the, what I call the backyard spirits. Yeah, and I do. I think that this is a time to honor that relationship in some way. If it's through prayer or meditation, maybe it's through your service to your community, your family, whatever that looks like for you. Okay, now let's take a look here. Now, I feel that you are going to be drawn outside to be doing work. We also have the cardinal, so we have somebody visiting. Now, I wonder if you grew up with people that farmed or were like really into doing stuff outdoors. Maybe it's something like gardening or, I don't know, building things. Maybe, I don't know, you come from a family that like, does motorbikes or, I don't even know, play some kind of sport. But I feel that there are animals and there's a lot of time outside, not spending very much time inside at all. And I feel like you connect to your line, to your family, and to ones that you experienced and to ancestors that of course, they live within you and you experience them in these interior places like dreams. But, you didn't meet them in real life, so to speak. So I feel that there's just this real sense of not even feeling like yourself unless you've been outside doing something. Every single day it's like that for you. And I feel that this is something that you've really tried to reimagine your life and kind of rebuild your life in such a way that promotes more time outside. And I think that's so important. I think that this is a real sign that you are perceiving and honoring your nature. Okay, now your true will. And I see this being more and more the case. Now we have the hermit, we have a horse that is doesn't have a rider on it, so kind of pasturing or hanging out. We have the number 62. And so I do feel that as you are on this trip, there is a sense of moments of wanting to be alone. I feel that and we talked about you having this belovedness, this partnership, and love deeply. And that's all true. I believe that's very true. But I also feel like you are needing more time to yourself as you are evolving as a being. I feel like you're in a period of your life where there's a lot of introspection, but also contemplation. And I think that's something that is probably somewhat newer for you. I think that you are usually you have to feel like you're doing stuff. You're, busy, making progress, getting these projects done, don't want to sit around and waste the day and all of that. But I think you find yourself more and more in these places where you're just kind of sitting, looking out the window, thinking about life or whatever it is, contemplating something, and you catch yourself and you think, oh my gosh, I'm wasting time. But in reality, I think that you know that this is something that is most necessary. And maybe something that to some degree you've avoided a little bit in life. So now I feel that you are learning to have these moments, to allow yourself them, to indulge them. And I think that this is something that will really help as you move into that new phase of your life. Okay, now we're going to do 3 lucky numbers. We have 98, number 98. Number 73, Ooh. And number 95. 95. Now, we will do our Wild Bohemian affirmation cards. And I will stop where it feels right. 2, I am here. Your life is meant for adventure. Personal delight is very beneficial. Right on. This is right where we're at. Personal delight. I love it. Excuse me, I need a personal delight day. I like that, personal delight. Okay, these are our Dreamers deck affirmation cards, and I'll stop where it feels right. And it says, I know that sitting in silence is the surest way to hear my intuition speak. I'm listening. Right on. Literally what we were just talking about. So, Sagittarius, I want to tell you I love you because I do. Thank you so much for being here with me. It's always such a pleasure. I need a drink of water. It is so smoky here. Excuse me. Here on the high plains, the Canadian wildfires are just really going, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, I have not looked at the news very much lately besides the weather. So I don't really know. I need to actually take some time to do that this afternoon. But I sound terrible. I know. And I woke up, I was like, am I sick? But I realized it's from the smoke. Yesterday, I took my daughter to the lake to meet some of her friends. And we flew kites. And we were outside for many hours. And I think that although it wasn't as smoky yesterday, I think it really got to me. So I apologize. Thank you so much for putting up with that. But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that, honestly. It's Sunday. I'm filming on Sunday. So you'll have to, you know, be a little understanding. It has been busy. I'm sure you've been busy too, getting ready for the next season. I asked the last reading I did for, who did I do? Capricorn. And I asked, what are you doing this summer? I'm interested. What's going on? If you are going into winter, I'm even more interested. What are you doing in the Southern Hemisphere? How are you going to spend your next season? What are your big projects? What are you interested in doing? For me, it's just gardening, mostly working outside, you know, keeping my daughter busy. She has a lot of stuff going on this summer, and swimming. As much swimming as we can get in. So those are my goals. I know they're not very lofty, but what can I say? I'm in chillax mode. No, I'm busy. I've been busy, but I do. I look forward to a couple days here where we can kind of hang out and go swimming and stuff. But anyhow, I ramble, I digress, I ramble, and so on and so forth. I love you. I love you. I love you. If you have not checked out my husband's channel, go check him out. It's Dove and Serpent Tarot, and his name is Paul. He's pretty wonderful. He's actually coming up on his 3-year anniversary of having the channel. I can't believe it's been 3 years already. But yeah, go check him out. He's amazing. All right. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. We're going to talk in a few days. Good night.